Welcome to part 2 of the Final Fantasy XII International Zodiac job system plus US patch. By the way, this guy's voice is freaking awesome. I really enjoyed the voice acting in this game all throughout. And you'll notice that this is, in the original international version, the Japanese version, all this text would have been in Japanese, so this was something that FFGriever had to fix
At this time,
in his
two great empires
re-release.
for dominion over Ivalice. Arcadia in the east, Rosaria the west. The invasion of the kingdom
Sorry, I'm just sitting back and enjoying this voice actor right now. I know that this game gets a lot of heat for having kind of archaic, some people say Shakespearean translation, and interesting word choice. But for sure, I don't think it's ever gotten criticized for its voice acting. Because I have to say that the voice acting was done in England instead of the US, and I don't know why all games aren't done like that, because for whatever reason, their voice actors are just so much better than ours. I mean, I that's kind of a out there comment, but maybe it's just because the British accent sounds so much better that the cheesiness doesn't come through quite as much, but I just feel like the quality of the voice acting is just far beyond very many US games. I mean, there's been some other US games that have been a lot better, that most of them weren't RPGs, so there's probably been some other RPGs that were done really well with voice acting, but I just feel like this is one of the best.
King of Dalmasca,
the little clips of art in the background
had no choice but to accept these terms.
I just love all the artistic style in this game.
That he set out for Nalbina Fortress.
I think you'll hear the word love and art in this playthrough of mine very often.
The Emperor's treaty of peace. The king had scarce departed his royal city.
I think it's interesting to note that something that a lot of these Ivalice Alliance games have in common. By Ivalice Alliance games, I mean the games that these guys have worked on even prior to Ivalice Alliance, like Final Fantasy Tactics, Tactics Org, and Vagrant Stories, that they use books very heavily. Final Fantasy Tactics, in fact, basically was designed to be like you're playing through a book, a story, not like it was in chapters, and it was like supposed to be like retrospectively what you're playing was supposed to be taking place in a book, and the current time of the game was, 300 years later.
Can you hear me?
This is where you'll first noticing the no good slowdown that I have in this playthrough. I apologize for it profusely.
Slowing us down.
Fortunately, the graphics are just too pretty for me to skip through these cutscenes, even if they do sound like they're stoned, and they really do sound like they're stoned. But like I said, it's your guys' choice to watch this, and I have spent many weeks trying to get it running as fast as I can with recording at the same time. And I find this to be bearable, and hopefully you can find this bearable too.
Name's Rex.
Good.
And now Bosch has his no good, lame looking armor on. I really wish he had that armor from that full motion video in the entire game. And then we're introduced to Rex. I find the introduction of this game to be a really interesting concept. It's a good way to do a tutorial. It's kind of odd that the demo for this game just wasn't this opening part, because it works really well as a demo, because it doesn't actually tie into the main characters. I mean, well, there's a couple characters there that are reoccurring, like Bosch and
Think you can fight?
the guy next to him that becomes a NPC layer here. My FF12 knowledge is failing me because I can't remember his name.
How old are you, Rex?
Rex has to be one of the most
17, sir.
underused characters. It's a pity that they took this time to do the introduction and introduce him, and sure, he's Vaughn's brother, as he's just saying, but I feel like this is one of those moments. I feel like this game never really lived up to, the story never got completed how it was supposed to. The depth of the gameplay is all there, and the replayability, and I feel like the world has been fully created, but I think having
No, sir.
having Matsuno step down during the actual process of the game, and since he is the story guy, I feel like a lot got left out and cut. The meat of it's still there.
We must reach the king,
but there's so much lacking in character development, and you can see so much area where they could have gone with the story and where they meant to develop it. Like Rex is such a great example because they spent this entire opening sequence introducing him and having him be the first person you're introduced to, but you never get closure on that. Like I think Thawne has a couple flashbacks back to him, but there's no, to my knowledge, once again maybe there's some optional side quests that I never did. But you never get closure to that. You're starting to see some interesting little graphical glitches. For the most part, everything looks fine, but every once in a while, there'll just be a character that doesn't have textures on him, and he's just this kind of liney blob. This is the only time that I am thankful for the slowdown. Just watching this fight scene in slowdown is really cool. The sparks coming off the armor are really freaking sweet. That guy just got honed. But then you do notice things in slow motion, like the fact that that guy has a black hole for a crotch. But, you know, they had to put something there. So yeah, story closure would have been nice. Apparently it runs in Rex and Van's family to bare their chest just a little bit. Apparently Valon is a lot worse than Rex. The detail and the textures in this game, man. Graphics, I know I talk a lot about the graphics in this game. Even when they're glitchy emulated, I don't have any anti-aliasing or any extra filtering going on to make them look prettier than they are, but just the design of the game is so brilliant that it doesn't even matter. Okay, so one of the first, I mean, the subtitles were part of what FFGriever probably had to include, but first time in text, totally readable, and you're seeing the translation in action. I haven't found much of any Japanese text yet in just my little bit of previewing, so now I need to look around a little bit so I know that works. We can zoom in, see the draw distance. The frame rate isn't amazing, but it's doing the trick. I need to admire his shield real quick. Oh no, don't fade out. And for this tutorial text, I'm just going to be going through it pretty much as fast as I can because it doesn't serve us any purpose. So I can run down, and one of the main features of Final Fantasy International Zodiac job system, though, right now he's doing the moonwalk because of the slow frame rate. And this is the only thing that makes this game, makes it so I can do this playthrough, by the way, as soon as I get through this text, is the fast forward option. Possibly the coolest feature in a video game remake ever. It makes the game go super fast, makes battles go super fast, makes a game from point A to B well, super fast. And actually one of the main criticisms of this game was the time it took to get from place to place, especially running around some of the main towns. And now with this fast forward option, I mean, it just makes the game so much more enjoyable because you don't have to deal with any of those low, drawn-out moments. Getting to A to B isn't a problem, and level grinding and just doing battles. And especially with the Gambit system where it's all automated, it just makes it so much faster. And once again, this recorded playthrough just wouldn't be possible. If I'm not recording, he can run, the characters run at normal speeds, but you saw the moonwalk, and that would just be unbearable to be doing a playthrough of. So the fast forward feature is the only thing making this doable right now. And then you face off with your first grunt. You know, Bosch just took down 6 guys, no problem, but I get the lonely weakling that we caught by surprise. We're just going through some quick battle tutorial stuff, but we already know that. I appreciate that it's in English, though. And then I'm just going to attack him, get this over with. Still in fast forward. And apparently they don't trust me to take care of him on my own. But he's dead. And then we run across the bridge. And slow down as the cutscene starts. And I think I'm going to end part 2 as soon as this cutscene with the spaceship landing. Well, it's not a spaceship. But yeah, it looks like a spaceship. Why they decided to stop there on the bridge to get attacked, I'm not sure, but I guess Bosch just wanted to show off what a bad ass he was, that we could take out this airship with its guns and missiles with our swords. Because, you know, that's how Final Fantasy games work. The sword truly is greater than the missile, mightier than the missile. Especially great swords. Oh man, I love great swords. That's probably another thing you'll be hearing me talk a lot about in this game, but unfortunately I do not possess a great sword at this moment. Okay, and this is going to end part 2. We'll start part 3 with this battle.